What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms, and I am joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate, how you doing?
Doing well. Good to see you. How are you?
Not doing too bad. Not doing too bad. Hanging in there. Wondering how the Angels are continuing to win games.
I was just thinking that
No,
you,
no.
you literally look at the lineup and it's like there are three guys hitting in this lineup and that's it.
I mean, in all seriousness, like though they outpitched the Yankees. Like they really did. They kind of outplayed the Yankees too. Like I thought the Yankees played okay, but I didn't think they were the Yankees. I thought they
I
could.
thought the Yankees played terrible. I thought it was one of the worst series I've seen from them in a long time.
I mean, I didn't think they played horrible, horrible. But yes, I mean, again, it's not the Yankees that we know for sure. So yeah, there's that. I mean, 1-0, that big 1-0 win. Start this series off. Then they go 4-0. Yankees just don't score, haven't scored any runs or anything like that. Weirdest thing in the world. Then the 3-2 win. Angels have a chance to sweep, and then Sunday getaway day. We're on Washington, refuses to win those games. Um, jokes aside, though, it's what it kind of felt like with the lineup that he put out there. You looked at it and it was like, ooh, we're gonna see Kevin Newman and this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, and it's like, ooh, that's not how you win a series. Like sometimes you got to not give guys Sundays off, and I understand that, but
There was stress, but yeah,
go try to sweep a series. Go try to sweep a series. But all that being said, Angels do take 3 of 4 against the Yankees in New York. Hell has frozen over. I'm just kidding. It's not that. I don't think it's that crazy. I'm just still trying to figure out how this team is continuing to win series this year. Again, outpitched the Yankees for sure. Tip the cap to Kyle Hendricks, who shut down a pretty good lineup that just hadn't been hitting. Um, Jose Soriano, it was Soriano, right? Soriano shut
yep.
down. Yeah, Soriano
Soriano
goes
threw
out.
well.
Looks like an all-star. I'll say that. I mean, Soriano looks unbelievable. He's striking guys out all of a sudden. He's not walking guys. Yeah, he looked really good. And then even Jack Hanowitz looked good too, which
He was okay.
better than he had been. Let's say that. Is that fair to say?
The
He
the
looked
bar,
better
the
than he
bar
had.
is very low, but yes, that's
Well,
fair.
when you're statistically probably one of the worst pitchers in baseball over, a month and a half span, you got to look better at some point. And I'd say he looked better than he did in recent starts for sure. But you got anything to take away from this series? Anything at all? Hey, how is this team winning games? It's weird to me. The bullpen's been good. I'll say that. Bullpen's been good minus game 4, but yeah, what do you got?
But even in game four, like they never really had a chance to win the game. They took the lead early. Anderson gave it right back. Then Anderson allowed him to get it to even more, and then the bullpen kind of like game was out of hand, and the bullpen kind of made it a little bit worse. But it maybe if they keep it, 4-5-3, then maybe the Angels have a shot. But the Angels, it wasn't really. This was the toughest game on paper to win because this was the best starting pitcher they saw week was Carlos Rodon. So yeah, timely hitting. Christian Moore gets 2 hits, his first 2 hits of the year. Um, I don't know. It's beginning to like this week was one of those weeks where it's like, hey, they made less mistakes than the other team, and it worked out for them. I mean, Volpe had two. I thought Volpe had two really bad um, plays. I would say, he had to play a shortstop that cost the Yankees a run, which gave the Angels the 3-2 lead, which gave them the win in Game Three. Volpe chased a pitch with Dominguez stealing, fouled it off with 1 strike, and then with 2 strikes, Dominguez steals again, and Volpe grounds it to third, and Dominguez is out of third, and that changes that inning as well. So I mean, the Yankees are not playing good baseball, and I'm glad the Angels were able to win this series 3 out of 4. And that's what you got to do. Like you got to take advantage of playing teams at the right time, and you got to win games. And that's all that really matters. We can look at all these numbers and be like, they're hitting 215 as a team or whatever it is. I honestly don't know what it is, but like when you look at the numbers from the 5 hitter four-hitter down. Taylor Ward's hitting 209. And then you look at the rest of it today, it was like, okay, it was just for fun. It was 209. Sorry. Taylor Ward's hitting 209. Darno's hitting 210. Adele's 221. Kingery 143. Wade, who pinch hit 162. Newman 192. Rengifo 218 and Moore 167. It's like, and this team took 3 out of 4 from the Yankees. And I know Darno didn't play. Um, he played one game this series. I know Newman played one game this series, but Rengifo played most of the series. He's hitting 218. Solaire's hitting right around that 218 as well, and he played a little bit in this series. Ohapi has been awful the last month. He's hitting close to 220 as well. And it's like, man, this lineup is really relying on a couple guys, and those couple guys have been clutch. Shanuel's had a good last month and a half. Neto's been carrying the team. Trout's starting to hit a little bit. So it is crazy to think about how this team's winning baseball games.
Hey, but it's fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like Angels being close to 500 at this point, definitely playing better than a lot expected. 2 games out of a wild card spot right now, and probably actually now that I say 2 games out of a wild card spot, good segue into. I got a question. I have some questions for you, and those on YouTube can go along and play the game with us if you'd like to. We've been talking a lot about the Angels selling, even though they're 2 games back in the wild card, because that's what we think they should do. We'll talk about buying. We'll talk about being buyers next podcast or podcast after that, because there is definitely a time and a place for them to be buyers to an extent. To an extent, Nate, don't get upset. To an extent,
They do have the best prospects in baseball to be able to go by, so
yeah,
that is huge.
you definitely could.
It's huge.
But we're gonna play a game called Keeper Sell. We'll go with that. Keeper Sell.
Okay.
Got a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 8 players on the Angels right now. I have a feeling that you're gonna sell every single one of them. But there's a couple on
Probably.
here that I think that have um, multiple years left on their contract that you can make an argument for them keeping, and a couple names we haven't really even talked about before, but you could think about selling them. First off, Tyler Anderson, selling him.
So I don't think anyone wants that guy. I don't know. You don't get anything in return for him, but sell him. Um, yeah, I really don't know who's going to be looking for the third worst ERA in Major League Baseball, a guy that's not going to make a playoff roster. Nobody's going to be looking for that guy in July, but sure, sell if someone will take him.
I'll make a counter argument here, which I know you don't like. He's a veteran who's been around the game a long time. It's somebody that if you don't get the right asking price, not even right asking price, if you don't get anything for him, you keep him around just because it's Tyler Anderson. He's been around the game for a long time. And statistically, he may not be helping out the rotation, but as a veteran, he probably is. So,
Wait, you
Reed
can't
Detmers.
use
No,
you
we're
can't
not
use
going into it.
probably.
We're not
That's
going into it.
terrible.
Nope,
Oh,
we're not
he
going into
might
it. We're not going
probably.
into it.
Oh
We're
man,
not going into it.
he
Nope,
might
don't go any
probably
farther.
be helping the rotation.
Nope.
That's awful.
Okay. I'm not letting you go any farther into this. Reed
That's awful.
Detmers. Reed Detmers.
Keep. I'd keep him. I know that his value probably can't get any higher than it is right now. I know that teams called about him last year, but I would keep him just because I think Taylor Blake Ward has said this a lot. For the Angels to be good long term, Reed Detmers needs to be good, and he's got so much time left on his deal that it's like, and we've seen him have real success. I think we're going to talk about another guy here who's kind of been similar to Detmers, but hasn't had as much success as Detmers has. And so I would say keep Detmers and just see like, hey, is he a starter? Find that out. And if he's a lockdown reliever, like that's fine. Josh Hader makes a lot of money to be as good as he is. So yeah, I'd keep him.
Even if you're planning on drafting Liam Doyle, Jamie Arnold, or Kate Anderson,
If
another
you're
lefty.
draft, I wouldn't draft Liam Doyle. I wouldn't draft Jamie Arnold. I think Cade Anderson's a little bit different. I think I would draft Cade Anderson in that spot, but he's like the third or fourth guy I would draft on the board. Not He would not be the first guy I would take. Um, I would still keep Detmers just because you really don't know. Like just because the Angels have done this draft and put him in the bigs in 12 minutes doesn't mean that Doyle is going to be good when you put him in the bigs right away. It doesn't mean Anderson's going to be good when you put him in the bigs right away. All these things, like it just, I would rather have a guy that you know for sure is has had major league success on this team, especially when you have said the window opens next year. I don't even know if that's true, but I know that you've said that you can't be like rebuilding pieces like that. A guy that has a shot to be very good for this team next year. And like I said, there's another guy that we're going to talk about here in a second. I think he's in a completely different spot.
Reed Detmers for me, if the price is right, you trade him. If somebody comes and says, "Hey, here is three top 100 prospects," not saying that that's going to
Oh
happen
yeah,
because that's a lot, but if the
I hear
price is
that
right,
happens all the time.
yeah. If the price is right, because Reed Detmers is under contract till I believe 2029, the asking price has got to be sky high. But you never know. Weirder things have definitely happened. Kenley Jansen,
He's gone.
I would
We don't
absolutely
even
agree
need
with
to
you.
go into that. He
Nope,
can go.
I agree, especially with the deal that they got for Carlos Estevez last year. So Luis Renifo,
Same thing. He's gone.
I
There's
agree.
really nothing.
I agree. Next three guys have a good chunk of not a good chunk, but multiple years left on their contract with the Angels, starting with Taylor Ward.
Multiple.
He's
He's
got
got a
multiple.
year and a
He's got a year
half.
and a half, multiple years. That's a year
That's
and a
not a
half.
multiple.
This year and next year, multiple
That's a
years.
year. That's a year of
Multiple
control,
years.
but okay.
Multiple years.
Year of control, but it's okay. Uh, he can go as well. I think that there are a lot of teams that are looking for a power hitting outfield right now. San Diego being one of them. Uh, Kansas City probably is in that as well if they think they got a shot, which it looks like they have a shot to be a playoff team again. You never know with some injuries and things like that. So I think this is the best time to sell him. I do not want to get into the same spot we are with Rengifo, where we're like, man, he's hitting 218. He's got a 540 OPS. He's got, half a year of team control, and you end up getting next to nothing. Where at least if you sell him now, you're going to get something for him because teams are in need of him.
I'll say Taylor Ward a lot more success than Luis Renifo in his career. I would assume, I'm not looking at stats or anything, but I would assume that Taylor Ward's been a better player than Luis Renifo in his career. Yeah, I think this is the year you got to sell him at some point. You have interesting depth in the corner outfield spots. I'm not going to say in the outfield in general, but the corner outfield spots. You got a guy like Joe Dell, who we're going to talk about here in a second, Jorge Soler, who we're going to talk about right now, and Mike Trout, along with others. So, and including you can probably start throwing in the mix a guy like Logan O'Hoppe, unless you're thinking about putting him at third base anytime soon. Um, so yeah, I think that this is a fantastic year to sell him. And I think that there are going to be teams chomping at the bit to get him, no matter the asking price. Last year, the Angels were offered a top 100 prospect. I don't know if they turned it down. I don't know what happened, but they're offered top 100 prospects. So teams will give them players for Taylor Ward and players that will contribute at the major league level. So next guy, Jorge Soler.
No,
You're not selling him?
no. This is literally the lowest value you possibly can sell him at. Um, and I don't think his contract is good. I don't think there's a lot of people that are going to want to add, 13 mil next year plus, 6-ish mil the rest of the way. I just don't see you getting enough where it makes sense. Maybe in the offseason, if someone's like, hey, we missed out on Kyle Tucker, we missed out on Alex Bregman, we need a hitter, and we're okay with a DH primary guy over a whatever he is, um, then I think you would sell him then. But right now, I just don't see it making sense, especially with as poor of a season as he's had.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also like him in the lineup. I know he hasn't had a great year, but I like him in the lineup next year over certain guys. So I'll also say keep. But I mean, again, if the asking price is right, and you can get a flailing prospect, someone who was a top 100 prospect, a Jared Kelenic type of guy, I would probably do it. I don't know if that would ever happen or anything like that, but you get what I'm saying. Last but not least, Joe Dell.
Yeah, and that was the guy that I was alluding to when talking about Reed Detmers. I feel like Detmers has actually had some like actual success in the big leagues. Adele has had, streaks of success where it's like, oh, hey, he's been good for a couple weeks, he's been good for a month, but he hasn't really put together a year where you're like, oh wow, this was a good year. Like last year, everyone's going to point to and be like, oh man, he was good last year. No, he just set the bar so low that he had achieved the bar that was very low. He had a WRC plus of 90, which is not startable. That it is what it is. I think that it's very similar to Brandon Marsh, where it's like, hey, if you're able to get something like a young third baseman that is blocked, or a young center fielder that is blocked by someone, like that would make sense to me. Um, but I don't know how realistic that is. I don't know if anyone's like chomping at the bit to go trade for Joe Adele. I know he's been really hot for the last, month-ish, month and a half. But if someone's going to give you something like a Logan O'Hoppe and Mickey Moniak type of thing, you do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, over his last 39 games, and now you said month and a half, 39 games, he's batting, and this is not including today, 254, 341, 596 with a 161 WRC plus, 12, now 13 home runs on over that span. Um, when you look at Joe Adele's like behind the scenes stats, bat speed, all that fun stuff. He is quote unquote an analytical beauty. I know he's not a great defender, but if you put him in an organization that knows what to do with that, I think that he becomes a very, very good player. And Angels fans are going to be like, "Oh, he could have been that with us," or "Look at the Angels traded away Joe Adele for this." And at that point, I don't care. Right now, his value is just about as high as it probably has been since he was a top five prospect in baseball. And the Angels were, we were talking about trading him for so and so or trading him for, this guy or that guy.
Mhm.
So I don't know if this is really a bold statement or not. I'd say that the Angels trade either Joe Adell or Taylor Ward in during this trade deadline. I really do. They almost need to as well. And we'll talk about them buying because I think that they could sell buy, if that makes sense. I think they could do both and get better for the future. I know there's not a lot of pieces that they have, but there is enough pieces where you could go get guys under control that could contribute at the major league level down the road. So I'll do some research into that and see what the Angels could possibly do. Um, yeah, trade Joe Adell though. Long story short, trade Joe Adell. I'd say. Let's get on to the preview here. Nate, you are four. No, you are 3.5 and 7 on the year. I'm 4 and 7. Derek is 4 and 7. Um, we did not get anything right last week though. I was the closest to getting it right, so I think I deserve at least a half point for that. I know I
No,
won't.
close doesn't mean anything.
That's fine. At least you're here, so you have a chance for points. So let's go ahead and preview this Astros series. Big series for it not even being July yet. Um, Angels need to continue to win ball games. Hopefully, not fall too far back in this loss column after this series. But game one, you say Kikuchi against Hunter Brown. At least this is what ESPN gave us pitching matchup wise. MLB didn't have it out yet. But Kikuchi versus Brown in game one, what do you got?
Yeah, I love Hunter Brown. I think Hunter Brown is really, really, really good. Kikuchi has been able to keep the Angels in games, but the Angels haven't really won games that Kikuchi has pitched, which, is what it is, kind of tough luck. I think the Astros win game one just because I think Hunter Brown's a really, really good pitcher.
Yeah, Hunter Brown's working his way towards starting the All-Star game, I'd say. Just looking at stats, not looking at anybody else, but he's got a chance to start the All-Star game for sure. Oh man, it's actually kind of tough because I think Kikuchi's been pitching decently well of late. So I think this is going to kind of be one of those games where we're an hour into the game and it's the sixth inning and 1-2-3 1-2-3 type of game. It's going to come down to the bullpen. The Angels bullpen's been pretty good lately. I'd say I'm gonna say the Angels lose. I was almost talking myself into like a walk-off win, but I'm gonna say the Angels find a way to lose this game. It's gonna be a close game though. I really do think so. I think Kikuchi's pitching well. Hunter Brown is just too good. I think he's gonna shut shut the Angels down for a while. Might be like a 3-0 game or something like that. So game two, Jose Soriano against Brandon Walter.
I've been going back and forth because I was looking to see Soriano take that next step against the Yankees, which I thought he did. Um, Two back-to-back really good starts. Um, oh man, Walter's been really good for the Astros. I don't know what the heck is going on there.
Brent is
out of
Walter the one that only has one walk on the year, 19 strikeouts, or is that
yeah.
Gusto? Yeah,
No, Walter has one
Walter.
walk. That's the thing that's scary is the Angels are not a walk team and they're a big strikeout team. You put those two things together, Walter's in for a really good game. Um, and the Astros are not an easy lineup to go through for Soriano.
Best team in the West. I know the West isn't good, but still the best team in the West.
Yeah. Uh, I think the Astros win game two as well.
These next two games were coin flips for me. Even a Kyle Hendricks start, who I know I blasted Kyle Hendricks, and then he did what he did against the Yankees. But
I got it
um,
right. That's all I know.
what?
I called that start. That's all
Uh,
I know.
I next two were coin flips for me. I'll go the opposite way of you. I'll say that Brandon Walter throws too many strikes. The Angels kind of hit him around somehow. One walk on the year, you know he's going to be around the zone, which is a good thing for the Angels. So I'm going to say the Angels win this game. You had a loss, right?
Yeah. I
Dang.
have
Are you going to
both.
have them getting swept here? I'm slightly worried about that. So,
Oh man.
game three, Kyle Hendricks against Ryan Gusto. From a statistical standpoint, pretty similar pitchers this year, to be honest. When you go look at their stats, but there's one glaring stat that worries me a little bit. So, Kyle Hendricks against Ryan Gusto, game three. What do you got?
I'm scared with Kyle Hendricks pitching against the Astros, honestly. Um, it's brutal because the Astros are always the most prepared team you have to play.
I thought
And
about that too going into this.
th-
Yeah,
that's what like that's why I'm like so like honestly game two is a coin flip for me, right? Like I
yeah.
went Astros just because I felt like they're going to be more prepared than the Angels will be, and that's why I went Astros. But I could see Soriano going out there and throwing seven shutty again, dealing. They go to Zephyr John in the eighth. He goes 1, 2, 3, and then Jansen gets the job done in the ninth. I easily could see that happening, but just from how good the Astros have been at being prepared, I think the Astros sweep. And it scares me knowing that Kyle Hendricks is starting against this team because this is a team that's going to absolutely sit there and just be like, hey, we're going to take away the changeup. Uh, don't swing at the changeup. We don't care. Just sit there, look fastball. He's not going to beat you with anything. His breaking ball is average at best. The changeup is what's going to beat you. Just eliminate whenever you see changeup, eliminate it and go from there. So that's the scariest thing to me. I think the Angels lose one. Again, they get swept here, which is not a fun thing to talk about, but it's a tough one.
Yeah, I thought about all that. I have the Angels losing this game just because the exact point that I made in the last podcast where Kyle Hendricks absolutely destroyed him. Maybe I'm going with the opposite juju here and saying that I cannot think I can't say that the Angels are going to win a Kyle Hendricks start. As good as he's pitched over the past, let's say month, probably three, four
Three
starts,
starts.
three starts. I mean, it's still scary. It really is. It's gonna be it's gonna be one of those games where I feel like it goes back and forth, and it's probably gonna be a hot day in Anaheim on Sunday afternoon. The ball could probably fly out a little bit, and you get a couple guys that leave a couple pitches over the plate. It could be a 9-8 ball game or something like that when it comes down to it. So I'm gonna say the Angels lose this game as well, just because I cannot do it. I cannot say the Angels are going to win a Kyle Hendricks start, and I hope they do. I really do. But that's just my thought on it. So, Nate, you got any final thoughts? How's Jose Soriano doing?
Jose Suarez, you mean?
Flores, yeah.
He's not on a 40 man because other teams are smarter than the Angels. He's in AAA pitching, which is where he should be.
Proud of you.
So
Look at you.
it just is what it is. Good huge series for the Angels to win three out of
Yeah,
four.
it was.
That's big. Um, I know we have the Angels losing to the Astros, but this is a big series for them. Like this could turn them into I still don't think they're buyers even if they win this series, honestly. But this could make it realistic of like, hey, wow, we're like actually in this thing. I don't this is one of those series though where they got to win. They can't sit here and go, "Oh, we went 1-2 against the Astros. We're for sure buyers now." Like, no, no, no. This is a must-win series for you to sit there in July and be like, "Hey, we are good enough to be a playoff team." Because if you can't beat these teams, then you're in trouble.
after this Yankees series would have been a good time to talk about the Angels buying. So I'm hoping that the Angels win 2 of 3 against the Astros. So when we do talk about the Angels buying, if it is on Sunday or maybe again on Wednesday, Thursday next week, whenever we podcast again, it looks a little bit better than, hey, the Angels are getting swept. Oh wait, we should also talk about the Angels being buyers. So because we will talk about that. It's worth a conversation to be had at the end of the day. So yeah. Thank you all for watching and listening here at Talking Halos. You can go ahead and follow us on all our social medias, X, Instagram, Facebook. You can follow myself on X, Jared_Tim's Nate at Nate Green 34. Guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. Have a great rest of your day.